Dispatch is made by the team that did the Telltale games, which, a lot of people really like. I wasn't a big fan of the Batman one, but I need to play the Walking Dead one. So Dispatch from the IMDb plot, or the IMDb thing, lead a team of dysfunctional superheroes in a choice-driven workplace comedy, juggle emergencies, official politics, and personal drama while striving to become a hero. Um, so, um, basically, I'll just say a better version of the plot. You play as a guy called Robert Robertson, who, after a fight with Shroud, his arch nemesis, he his suit gets destroyed really badly. So a superhero by the name of Blonde Blazer comes to save him, and be like, "Hey, your suit's pretty messed up. We're gonna help you um and rebuild it. But you have to become what's called a dispatcher, which is SEN, which is the company. They, hire basically people to sit on a desk and dispatch heroes and send them to missions. So yeah, he goes on what's called Z Team, which is, ex supervillains who want to do good. And yeah. And then he has to, defeat Shroud at the end. But so yeah, the cast is great. A lot of newcomers that haven't done any roles before, but a lot of YouTubers. So if if you're a fan of Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical, or for musical artists, Fault Squad and Young Gravy, you're gonna be happy, and you've probably played the game already. Um, no, I like the for big actors, you got Aaron Paul and Jeffrey Wright. For me, I think the acting is mostly good. Um, I liked Aaron Paul, great. I won't lie, when I first played the game, I did say best performance of his career, but I do disagree now. Do think Breaking Bad's better, but he is brilliant, and I can't wait for season 2. Um, Laura Bailey is Invisigal, great. Aaron, I'm gonna butcher this shit so bad. Yeviti as Blonde Blazer, great. Matthew Mercer, I'm really bad at this. As Shroud, he was funny. Jacksepticeye, I'm not a big Jacksepticeye person. I didn't really watch his stuff back in the day, but he was brilliant as Punch Up. I thought he was really, great. Everyone's great. I'll just talk about kind of the big people, and then two performances I didn't like. I wasn't a fan of Jeffrey Wright, but it wasn't like his performance that I didn't like. I didn't like his the stuff they gave him. I'll go on to it later, and I didn't like Moist Critical because to me, and I know a lot of people are gonna say that's the point. To me, Moist Critical doesn't act. He just plays himself, and he doesn't put much effort into it. Whilst I think at least Jacksepticeye does do something, you know. But that also leads me on I have a couple issues with the game. Number 2, um, the comedy's so 50/50. The comedy is either really funny or really corny and kinda just, raunchy for the sake of raunchy at times, or just kinda corny at times. But or I won't lie, and this is what I didn't like about Jeffrey Wright. I felt like Jeffrey Wright kinda had a lot of millennial humor. It just wasn't funny. And to me, it was more you know, I just couldn't stand him, which is a lot of people will disagree with me, but for me, I think he's just really annoying, and he kinda had Vitsy Pop writing. And then the one last issue I'll just say, game's way too short. I think if you got 1 episode, I think this would have been 10 out of 10 because, and I'll say spoiler before I say this next bit. In episode 6, you Invisigal goes to Shroud's you know some boat place. I'm being stupid right now, but to get the Astro Pulse, which powers Robert's suit, and for the whole game, for the 5 episodes that you've played so far, Chase hates Invisigal, calls her Invisibitch, thinks she is just a pain on the team. But after one talk with Robert, he suddenly just decides, you know what, I'm gonna save her and risk my life doing it. Which to me, I felt like if we had 1 episode of least Chase warming up to her instead of one chat, I just think it would have made the scene more powerful and more emotional. Because everyone on the internet was like, "Wow, that seems so sad," but to me, it was like, it just kind of happens for the sake of happening, which I just didn't like. Um, but no, anyways, you know, the art style, I love the art style. I think is really kind of comic booky, or like, which I think fits the, you know, aspect of the game perfectly. You know, the writing is great. I love the story. It is simple. It is, yeah, like there's not much. It's literally just group of villains become heroes, losers to winners. It is such a simple story, but it is done so well. And I wasn't excited. I'm like, I was expecting Dispatch to be overrated because it was so like praised online, but it wasn't like for me, like The Boys, Invincible. You know, I like those shows, but I don't love them. But I love Dispatch, and I cannot wait for season two. No, just trying to think. I haven't really written notes, so I'm sort of stumbling. Oh yeah, gameplay. Gameplay's great. I mean, it is mostly just hitting dialogue options, but the dispatching part is just I could play that for hours. I hope they do a game mode where you can just dispatch heroes and just doesn't affect the plot. You just kind of and then you can like have like a tier list of like players. I think that'd be great. Like I loved, and then the hacking bits were fine. On replay, I didn't mind the hacking bits, and then characters. Characters are great. Like, if I had to rank the characters, bottom, Phenomenon, Chase, Sonar, fuck them. They're not funny. But my top, my favorites, Mega Man, Flambe, and probably Golem, because Golem was chill. No, I think that's what I gotta say. Can't wait for season two. That's really the main thing. I will, hopefully, if we do still do this podcast by the time season two drops, I'll either do a weekly episode or I will do um just the whole season. But no, my final rating for Dispatch, 9.5 out of 10. I think would have been a 10 if they just gave us an extra episode and just fleshed out some of the stuff. Even maybe Shroud, because I think Shroud, he's only up for like the last two episodes and the first episode, and he's just not fleshed enough, which I know it's about, making these villains heroes, but I just wish, but overall, 9.5, great game. Can't wait for season two.